Hello everyone, and welcome back to Topical Economics. In today's video, we're diving into the topic, factors of production. Whether you're new to economics or just need a quick review, understanding the four factors, land, labor, capital, and enterprise, is key to tackling many exam questions. We'll be going through some MCQs from past papers to reinforce these concepts and see how they're tested. So, grab your notes, stay focused, and let's see if you can get them all right. And as always, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more helpful content. Let's get started. For first question, this question is from year 2022, May-June, version 3 paper. The correct factor reward identification is Answer, D. Land rent. In economics, the factor rewards refer to the income or return that each factor of production earns. Here's the breakdown for each factor and its correct reward. Land rent. The correct reward for land is rent. Land is a natural resource used in production, and the payment made for its use is called rent. This can be seen as compensation for the owner of the land. Let us review why other options are incorrect. The option capital profit is incorrect because the reward for capital is actually interest. Capital refers to man-made resources or tools used to produce goods or services. Interest is the payment made to the owner of capital for its use, not profit. Next option enterprise wages is incorrect because the reward for enterprise, entrepreneurship, is profit. Entrepreneurs take risks and make decisions to combine the other factors of production effectively. Their reward is profit, which is the difference between revenues and costs. Wages are paid to labor, not to enterprise. Lastly, option labor interest is incorrect because the reward for labor is wages. Labor refers to the human effort in production, and wages are the compensation paid to laborers for their work. Interest, on the other hand, is the reward for capital. Let's see the second question. Question says, which government action will not add directly to the quantity or quality of human resources? A. Improvement in health facilities. B. Investment in education and training. C. Provision of better food and nutrition. D. Reclamation of land from the sea. This question is from year 2022, May-June version 1. Here, the correct answer is option D. Reclamation of land from the sea does not directly contribute to the quantity or quality of human resources. Human resources refer to the skills, abilities, health, and overall productivity of people. Land reclamation increases the area available for development but does not directly impact human health, education, or skills. Let us review why other options are incorrect. Option of improvement in health facilities directly enhances the quality of human resources by improving health, which leads to a healthier and more productive workforce. Next option of investment in education and training improves the quality of human resources by enhancing skills, knowledge, and productivity, making individuals more valuable in the labor market. Lastly, option of provision of better food and nutrition directly improves human resources by ensuring better health and physical development, which positively impacts the productivity and quality of the workforce. Moving on with third question. Which statement about the factors of production is correct? A. Capital is a financial resource and includes savings in banks. B. Enterprise is limited in supply and includes office workers. C. Labor is a human resource and includes pensioners and children. D. Land is a natural resource and includes trees and fish. This question is from year 2021, May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D. Land is a natural resource and includes trees and fish. Land is considered a natural resource, which includes all natural materials provided by the earth, such as forests, minerals, fish, water, and other raw materials. Trees and fish fall under this category, making option D correct. Let us still evaluate other questions as well. Option A, capital is a financial resource and includes savings in banks, is incorrect because, in economics, capital refers to physical assets used in the production process, such as machinery, tools, and buildings. Financial resources like savings and banks are not considered part of capital in the economic sense. Next, option B, enterprise is limited in supply and includes office workers, is incorrect because enterprise refers to the ability and willingness of entrepreneurs to take risks and organize the other factors of production. Office workers are considered labor, not enterprise. Lastly, option C, labor is a human resource and includes pensioners and children, is incorrect because labor, in the economic sense, includes individuals who are actively working or available to work. Pensioners and children typically do not contribute to the workforce. Moving on with the fourth question. Sanjay is a risk-taker and sets up a restaurant in Chennai. Sanjay works for the business as a chef. He leases the restaurant building from Raghav and employs him to serve the customers. Which income is earned by Sanjay and Raghav? This is from year 2021, February-March version 2 paper. The correct answer is option C, profits and wages for Sanjay and rent and wages for Raghav. Asterisk Sanjay, since he is an entrepreneur who took the risk to set up the restaurant, he earns profit as the business owner. Additionally, because he works as a chef in his own restaurant, he also earns wages for his labor. Asterisk Raghav owns the building, which he leases to Sanjay, so he earns rent for this. Additionally, since he works as a server, he also earns wages for his labor. Looking at the other options. Option of interest and profit, for Sanjay, wages only, for Raghav is incorrect because Sanjay does not earn interest, and Raghav does not only earn wages, he also earns rent from leasing the building. Option of interest and wages, for Sanjay, profits and rent, for Raghav is incorrect because Sanjay earns profit and wages, not interest, and Raghav does not earn profits, as he is not the business owner. Lastly, option of profits only, for Sanjay, interest and wages, for Raghav this is incorrect, because Sanjay also earns wages for his work as a chef, and Raghav does not earn interest, he earns rent for the building. So, profits and wages for Sanjay and rent and wages for Raghav accurately reflect their respective incomes. Proceeding with the fifth question. Reena makes a living by selling paintings of the town in which she lives. She sells them in an open-air market once a week. In order to be able to sell more pictures in a week, she decides to buy a studio, pay someone to help in the studio, and try to increase demand by advertising in the local paper. Which factors of production were changed? A, capital only. B, labor and capital. C, labor and land. D, labor only. This question is from 2020 year specimen version 1 paper. The correct answer is option B, labor and capital. Reena made changes to both labor and capital. For labor, she hired someone to help in the studio, which adds to the labor involved in her business. For capital, she purchased a studio and invested in advertising, both of which are capital expenditures aimed at improving her production and sales. Looking at the other options. Option A, capital only, is incorrect, because while she did invest in capital by buying a studio and advertising, she also increased labor by hiring help. Option C, labor and land, is incorrect, because the studio and advertising are considered capital, not land. Land typically refers to natural resources, not buildings or studios. Lastly, option D, labor only, is incorrect, because she made capital investments in addition to hiring labor. Proceedings with the sixth question. What is the key role of an entrepreneur? A, inventor. B, risk-taker. C, shareholder. D, worker. This question is from year 2020 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is B, risk-taker. The key role of an entrepreneur is to be a risk-taker. Entrepreneurs organize and manage the other factors of production, land, labor, and capital, and are willing to take risks to start and run a business. They bear the risk of losses and are rewarded with profits if the business succeeds. Looking at the other options. Option A, inventor. Although some entrepreneurs may invent new products, invention is not a core requirement of entrepreneurship. Many entrepreneurs run businesses without inventing anything new. Option C, shareholder. Shareholders are individuals or entities that own shares in a company, but they do not necessarily take an active role in managing the business or taking risks as an entrepreneur does. Lastly, option D, worker. A worker provides labor and earns wages. While an entrepreneur may also perform work in the business, their primary role is to manage, organize, and take risks, not just to work. Proceeding with 7th question. Which combination of a factor of production and its factor income is not correct? This question is from year 2020 October-November version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C, labor, dividends. The income earned by labor is wages, not dividends. Dividends are payments made to shareholders from a company's profits, typically associated with the income from ownership rather than work performed. However, looking at the other options, option capital, interest, is correct because the return on capital, money or equipment invested in production, is interest. Option enterprise, profit, is correct because the reward for entrepreneurship, the risk-taking and management of the business, is profit. Option land, rent, is correct because the income generated from the use of land or natural resources is rent. Moving to 8th question. On which factor of production does innovation directly depend? A, decisions of entrepreneurs. B, high inputs of capital. C, long hours of manual labor. D, plentiful supplies of land. This question of from year 2020 October-November version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A, decisions of entrepreneurs. Innovation directly depends on the decisions of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the individuals who identify opportunities, take risks, and decide how to develop new products or services. Their willingness to innovate and invest in new ideas is crucial for driving technological advancements and improvements in productivity. Evaluating the other options. Option B, high inputs of capital. While capital can facilitate innovation by providing the resources needed for research and development, innovation itself depends primarily on entrepreneurial decisions and creativity. Next, option C, long hours of manual labor, does not directly contribute to innovation. While labor is essential in the production process, it does not inherently lead to new ideas or improvements. Lastly, option D, plentiful supplies of land. Having land may support production, but it does not directly foster innovation. Innovation relies more on human creativity and decision-making than on the physical resources available. Moving on with the 9th question. What is the function of the factors of production in an economy? A, to make goods and services to fulfill wants and needs. B, to provide an even distribution of income. C, to provide tax income for the government. D, to reduce the existence of external costs. This question is from year 2020 May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A, to make goods and services to fulfill wants and needs. The primary function of the factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, is to combine and create goods and services that satisfy the wants and needs of individuals and society. This is the fundamental purpose of production in any economy. However, looking at the other options. Option B, to provide an even distribution of income. While factors of production can influence income distribution, this is not their primary function. The distribution of income depends on various economic policies and market dynamics. Next, option C, to provide tax income for the government. While the production of goods and services can lead to taxation, generating tax income is a byproduct of production, not its main function. Lastly, option D, to reduce the existence of external costs. Reducing external costs, like pollution, can be a goal of certain economic activities, but it is not a primary function of the factors of production. The main focus is on the creation of goods and services. Proceeding with the 10th question. What is an example of the purchase of a consumer good? A farm owner buys a television. B, a farm owner buys additional land. C, a farm owner buys fertilizer for their crops. D, a farm owner buys some farming equipment. This question is from year 2020 May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is Option A. A farm owner buys a television. The purchase of a television is an example of a consumer good because it is a product intended for personal use or enjoyment by consumers, rather than for business or production purposes. Looking at the other options. Option B. A farm owner buys additional land, is not a consumer good. Purchasing land is an investment in capital or resources for production, not for personal consumption. Option C. A farm owner buys fertilizer for their crops. Fertilizer is a producer good, input, used in the production process to enhance agricultural output, rather than a consumer good. Lastly, option D. A farm owner buys some farming equipment, similar to fertilizer. Farming equipment is also a producer good intended for use in production rather than for personal consumption. Moving to the 11th question. In 2016, 20 billion barrels of oil and 1.6 billion barrels of natural gas were discovered in Texas, U.S. Which factor of production has increased in the U.S. due to this discovery? A. Capital. B. Enterprise. C. Labor. D. Land. This question is from year 2020 May-June version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D. Land. The discovery of oil and natural gas in Texas signifies an increase in the availability and utilization of land as a factor of production. Land encompasses not only physical space but also natural resources like minerals, oil, and gas. The discovery means that previously unutilized land now has valuable resources that can be extracted and used for production. Looking at the other options. Option A. Capital. While the discovery may lead to increased capital investment, like drilling equipment and infrastructure, the immediate factor affected by the discovery is land. Option B. Enterprise. The discovery itself does not directly indicate an increase in enterprise. Enterprise refers to the entrepreneurial ability to organize and manage resources. It may increase as a result of the discovery but is not the primary factor changed. Lastly, option C. Labor. Although the discovery could eventually create more jobs, labor, in the extraction and production processes, the discovery itself primarily affects the land factor of production. The labor force may expand in response, but it is not the direct factor changed by the discovery. Moving to the 12th question. What is most likely to increase the occupational mobility of labor? A. Building more houses. B. Increased spending on retraining schemes. C. Increased total government spending. D. Increasing the information on job availability. This is from year 2019 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option B. Increased spending on retraining schemes. Increased spending on retraining schemes is most likely to increase the occupational mobility of labor. Occupational mobility refers to the ability of workers to move between different jobs or industries. By providing training and skills development, workers can acquire new qualifications that allow them to transition into different roles or sectors, thereby enhancing their mobility in the labor market. However, looking at the other options. Option A. Building more houses. While this can create jobs in construction and related fields, it does not directly improve the ability of workers to move between different occupations. It mainly affects job opportunities in a specific sector. Option C. Increased total government spending. While increased government spending can lead to job creation and economic growth, it does not necessarily focus on improving workers' skills or facilitating their transition to different jobs. Option D. Increasing the information on job availability. While providing more information about job opportunities can help workers find jobs, it does not enhance their skills or qualifications needed to change occupations. This option can help with job search, but does not directly impact mobility like retraining does. Moving on with the 13th question. Country X provides computers to help teachers in the classroom. How would this technology increase the economic potential of Country X? Option A. It improves the quality of human resources. Option B. It reduces the amount of land required for education. Option C. It removes the need for teachers. Option D. It requires more teachers to do the same work. This question is from year 2019 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A. It improves the quality of human resources. Providing computers in classrooms enhances the quality of human resources by improving the educational experience for students. With better access to technology, teachers can deliver more effective lessons, engage students more actively, and provide resources that enhance learning. This investment in education leads to a more skilled and knowledgeable workforce, which is crucial for economic development. Looking at the other options. Option B. It reduces the amount of land required for education, is not necessarily true. While technology can change the way education is delivered, it does not directly impact the physical space required for educational institutions. Option C. It removes the need for teachers, is incorrect. While technology can aid in teaching, it does not eliminate the need for teachers. Instead, it often requires teachers to adapt and integrate technology into their teaching methods. Lastly, option D. It requires more teachers to do the same work, is also incorrect. The integration of technology can enhance the teaching process, potentially making teachers more efficient rather than requiring more teachers to achieve the same educational outcomes. Moving on with 14th question. Which statement about factors of production is correct? A. Capital is the amount of money borrowed from a bank. B. Labor is output made by an employee. C. Land includes commercially grown rice crops. D. Profit is the reward for enterprise. This question is from year 2019 October-November version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D. Profit is the reward for enterprise. Profit is indeed the reward for enterprise, which refers to the ability of entrepreneurs to organize the other factors of production, land, labor, and capital, and take risks in business ventures. When a business generates more revenue than its costs, the remaining amount is profit, which compensates entrepreneurs for their efforts and risks. Looking at the other options. Option A, capital is the amount of money borrowed from a bank, is incorrect because capital refers to the resources used in production, like machinery, tools, or equipment, not just the money borrowed. While money can be part of capital, it's not limited to borrowed funds. Options B, labor is output made by an employee, is incorrect. Labor refers to the human effort used in the production process, not the output itself. Output is the result of labor combined with other factors of production. Lastly, option C, land includes commercially grown rice crops, is incorrect because land, as a factor of production, refers to the physical space and natural resources. While the rice crops are produced on the land, the crops themselves are considered output, not part of the land factor. Moving on with 15th question. What is classified as one of the 4 economic resources? A. Consumption. B. Enterprise. C. Production. D. Trade. This question is from year 2019 October-November version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option B. Enterprise. Enterprise is classified as one of the 4 economic resources, also known as factors of production. The 4 economic resources are land, natural resources used in the production of goods and services. Labor, the human effort and skills used in production. Capital, man-made resources, such as machinery and buildings, used in the production process. Enterprise, the ability and willingness of individuals to take risks and organize the other factors of production to create goods and services. However, looking at the other options. Option A, consumption, refers to the use of goods and services by consumers and is not an economic resource. Next, option C, production, is the process of creating goods and services, not a factor of production itself. Lastly, option D, trade, involves the exchange of goods and services but does not constitute an economic resource. Moving on to the 16th question. What would an economist regard as an example of the factor of production capital? A. An individual's purchase of stocks and shares. B. Borrowing by a firm to pay for electricity. C. The building by a firm of a new factory. D. Total savings by individuals in a country. This question is from year 2019 May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C. The building by a firm of a new factory. Capital as a factor of production refers to man-made resources used in the production of goods and services. Building a new factory is a clear example of capital investment because it represents a physical asset that will be used to produce goods, thereby enhancing the firm's production capacity. Looking at the other options. Option A. An individual's purchase of stocks and shares is considered financial investment rather than capital in the economic sense. While stocks and shares represent ownership in companies, they are not physical assets used in production. Next, option B. Borrowing by a firm to pay for electricity refers to financing and operational expenses. Electricity is a utility necessary for production, but borrowing for it does not constitute capital itself. Lastly, option D. Total savings by individuals in a country. While savings can be an important economic indicator, they do not represent capital in the sense of physical resources used for production. Savings can be used for investment, but they are not capital by themselves. Proceeding with the 17th question. In farming, what is an example of what economists call capital? A. Savings the farmer has in the bank. B. Shares in a farming company. C. The money the farmer set aside to pay taxes. D. The tractor owned by the farmer. This question is from year 2019 May-June version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D. The tractor owned by the farmer. In economics, capital refers to the man-made resources used in the production of goods and services. A tractor owned by the farmer is a physical asset that is used to assist in farming operations, making it a clear example of capital in the context of agriculture. Looking at the other options. Option A. Savings the farmer has in the bank. While savings are important for financial health, they are considered financial capital rather than physical capital. Financial capital can be used to purchase physical capital but does not directly represent a resource used in production. Option B. Shares in a farming company represents ownership in a company and is classified as financial investment. Shares do not directly contribute to production like physical capital does. Lastly, option C. The money the farmer set aside to pay taxes is a liability rather than capital. It is not used for production, instead, it is an obligation that the farmer needs to fulfill. Moving on with the 18th question. A government wishes to increase agricultural output. It gives farmers the tools to irrigate the farmers' fields. Which factors of production are provided by the farmers? A. Capital and enterprise. B. Enterprise and labor. C. Labor and land. D. Land and capital. This is from year 2019 May-June version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C. Labor and land. In this context, the farmers are providing labor. Farmers contribute their physical work in cultivating, planting, and harvesting crops. This human effort is essential for agricultural production. Land. Farmers use the land on which they grow their crops. The land is a fundamental factor of production necessary for agriculture. Looking at the other options. Option A. Capital and enterprise is incorrect because the government is providing the capital, irrigation tools, not the farmers. While farmers do exhibit enterprise, it is not the primary focus in this question. Next, option B, enterprise and labor. Although farmers do apply their entrepreneurial skills, the question emphasizes the physical resources they provide, which are land and labor. Lastly, option D, land and capital, is incorrect because, while farmers provide land, the capital, the irrigation tools, is provided by the government, not the farmers. So, option C accurately reflects the factors of production that the farmers are providing in this scenario. Moving to the 19th question. Which factor of production involves risk-taking? A. Capital. B. Enterprise. C. Labor. D. Land. This is from year 2018 October-November version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option B, enterprise. Enterprise involves risk-taking because it refers to the ability of individuals, entrepreneurs, to combine the other factors of production, land, labor, and capital, to create goods and services. Entrepreneurs take on the risks associated with starting and running a business, such as financial losses, market competition, and uncertainties in production. Looking at the other options. Option A, capital. While capital can involve financial risks, like investing money in a business, it does not inherently include the aspect of risk-taking itself. Next, option C, labor, refers to the human effort used in production and does not involve risk-taking. Workers are typically paid wages and do not bear the financial risks of the business. Lastly, option D, land, is a natural resource used in production and does not involve risk-taking. It is a static factor that does not change based on entrepreneurial decisions. Thus, enterprise is the factor of production that specifically involves risk-taking. Proceeding with question number 20. Which factor of production is not represented in the list shown? Options are A, capital, B, enterprise, C, labor, D, land. This question is from year 2018 October-November version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C, labor. In the list provided, asterisk bananas, this represents land, a natural resource. Asterisk a factory, this represents capital, a man-made resource used in production. Asterisk goats, this also represents land, as they are livestock, which is a natural resource. Asterisk a risk-taking investor, this represents enterprise, the entrepreneurial aspect of combining resources to create goods and services. Here, labor is the factor of production that is not represented in the list. It refers to the human effort involved in production, which is absent in the given examples. Options that other factors represented. Asterisk A, capital, represented by a factory. Asterisk B, enterprise, represented by a risk-taking investor. Asterisk D, land, represented by bananas and goats. Asterisk however, option C, labor, is not represented in the list. Moving on with question 21. Which example of a factor of production in the fishing industry is correct? This question is from year 2018 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D, land, fish in the sea. Asterisk land refers to all natural resources used in production. In the fishing industry, fish in the sea are a crucial natural resource that is harvested for economic activity. This aligns perfectly with the definition of land as a factor of production. Looking at the other options. Option A, capital, charges on loan for fishing boat. Asterisk while this is a valid example of capital, it is not the correct answer to your original question regarding which example of a factor of production in the fishing industry is correct in the context provided. Option B, enterprise, salaries of fish warehouse managers. Asterisk this is incorrect, because salaries are considered labor costs, not an example of enterprise. Enterprise is more about the risk-taking and management aspects of running a business. Option C, labor. Asterisk this option is incomplete. Labor refers to the human effort involved in production but does not provide a specific example in this context. Proceeding with question 22. What would be classified by an economist as the factor of production known as land? A discovery of oil in the South China Sea. B, an oil rig bought by an oil company. C, money held by the oil companies in their bank accounts. D, the productivity of oil workers. This question is from year 2018 May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A, a discovery of oil in the South China Sea. This option is classified as land because, in economics, land encompasses all natural resources that are used in production. The discovery of oil represents a valuable natural resource that can be extracted and utilized, fitting the definition of land. Looking at the other options. Option B, an oil rig bought by an oil company, this represents capital. An oil rig is a man-made structure used in the production of oil, and capital refers to physical assets that aid in production. Option C, money held by the oil companies in their bank accounts, is classified as capital as well. It represents financial resources that can be used to invest in production but does not pertain to land or natural resources. Lastly, option D. The productivity of oil workers refers to labor. Productivity is a measure of how effectively labor is used in the production process, but it does not represent land. Moving on with question 23. What would be classified as the factor of production capital for an airline? A. The aircraft operated by the airline. B. The money the airline keeps in the bank. C. The pilots the airline uses. D. The shares of the airline quoted on the stock market. This question is from year 2018 May-June version 2 paper. The correct answer to this question is option A. The aircraft operated by the airline is classified as capital because capital refers to the physical assets used in the production of goods and services. In the case of an airline, the aircraft are essential tools for providing the service of air travel. Looking at the other options. Option B. The money the airline keeps in the bank. While this is a form of capital, it is not the physical capital needed to operate the airline. Instead, it represents financial resources that can be used for investments or expenses. Next, option C. The pilots the airline uses represents labor. Pilots are part of the workforce needed to operate the airline, but they do not fit the definition of capital. Lastly, option D. The shares of the airline quoted on the stock market refers to equity capital, which represents ownership in the airline. However, it is not classified as capital in the sense of physical assets that are directly involved in production. Moving to question 24. What is an example of the purchase of a capital good? A. A farm owner purchasing additional land. B. A farm owner purchasing a television. C. A farm owner purchasing a tractor. D. A farm worker purchasing some seeds. This question is from year 2018 February-March version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C. A farm owner purchasing a tractor. This is classified as a capital good. Capital goods are physical assets that a business uses in the production process to manufacture products and services. A tractor is essential for agricultural operations and directly contributes to increasing productivity on the farm. Looking at the other options. Option A. A farm owner purchasing additional land represents an investment in land, not a capital good. While land is a critical factor of production, it is distinct from capital goods, which are man-made. Next, option B. A farm owner purchasing a television would typically be considered a consumer good rather than a capital good. A television is not used in the production of farm goods, so it does not fit the definition of a capital good. Lastly, option D. A farm worker purchasing some seeds is an example of purchasing raw materials or inputs for production, not a capital good. Seeds are used in the production process, but do not qualify as capital goods themselves. Moving to question 25. A self-employed fortune teller earns a living by reading the palms of people's hands. Which factors of production are essential to this activity? A. Capital and enterprise. B. Enterprise and labor. C. Labor and land. D. Land and capital. This question is from year 2017 October-November version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option B. Enterprise and labor. Enterprise refers to the entrepreneurial ability to take risks and organize a business. In this case, the fortune teller is using their skills to offer a service and generate income. Labor refers to the human effort involved in the production of goods and services. The fortune teller's personal effort in reading palms constitutes the labor aspect. Looking at the other options. Option A. Capital and enterprise. While enterprise is correctly identified, capital is not essential in this case. The fortune teller does not require significant physical assets or equipment to perform their service, making capital less relevant. Option C, labor and land. Asterisk, this option incorrectly includes land. In the context of a fortune teller, land does not play a significant role, as the service does not rely on natural resources or land for production. Lastly, option D, land and capital. Asterisk, this option also incorrectly includes land and capital. Neither is essential for the fortune teller's service, as the main components are their skills and effort, labor, and their entrepreneurial initiative, enterprise. Proceeding with 26th question. Economists refer to factors of production. Which is not a factor of production? A. The fields of a farm. B. The machinery in a factory. C. The shares of a company. D. M. Staff in an office. This question is from year 2017 October-November version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C. The shares of a company. Shares represent ownership in a company and are considered financial assets rather than factors of production. They do not directly contribute to the production of goods and services. Instead, they represent capital that can be used to invest in production. Looking at the other options. Option A. The fields of a farm. Asterisk, this is a factor of production classified as land. It refers to the natural resources used in agricultural production. Option B. The machinery in a factory. Asterisk, this is classified as capital. Machinery is a physical asset that aids in the production process and is essential for manufacturing goods. Lastly, option D. The staff in an office. Asterisk, this is classified as labor. Staff members contribute human effort to the production of services or goods, making it a fundamental factor of production. Moving on with question 27. What does an economist mean by the factor of production called capital? A. Goods that can be used to produce other goods. B. Money used to start a business. C. Resources that cannot be replaced. D. The profits of a company. This question is from year 2017 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A. Goods that can be used to produce other goods. In economics, capital refers to the physical assets or goods that are used in the production of other goods and services. This includes machinery, tools, buildings, and equipment that help facilitate production. Looking at the other options. Option B. Money used to start a business. While money is important for financing a business, it is not classified as capital in the economic sense. Instead, it can be seen as a form of financial capital that is used to acquire actual capital goods. Option C. Resources that cannot be replaced. This description is more aligned with natural resources or non-renewable resources, but it does not accurately capture the essence of capital, which can be durable and used repeatedly in production. Lastly, option D. The profits of a company. Profits are a return on the use of factors of production and not a factor of production itself. They are the financial gains resulting from business activities but do not represent capital. Moving on with question 28. Which statement about factors of production is correct? A. The fruit picked from the tree is called land. B. The managers of a company are called enterprise. C. The money used to finance a project is called capital. D. The owner of a company is called labor. This question is from year 2017 May-June version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C. The money used to finance a project is called capital. In economics, capital refers to financial resources as well as physical assets, like machinery and buildings, that are used to produce goods and services. Money used for financing a project is indeed considered a form of capital. Looking at the other options. Option A. The fruit picked from the tree is called land, is incorrect. The fruit represents the output of the land but is not classified as land itself. Land refers to natural resources that are used in production, not the products harvested from them. Option B. The managers of a company are called enterprise, is incorrect. While managers may exhibit entrepreneurial qualities, enterprise in economics refers to the entrepreneurial ability to take risks and organize production, not the managers themselves. Lastly, option D. The owner of a company is called labor, is incorrect. The owner of a company is typically classified as an entrepreneur or a capital provider. Labor refers specifically to the human effort involved in production, such as employees working for the company. Moving to question 29. Which is not a factor of production? A. A farm. B. A farmer. C. A farmer's bank account. D. A second-hand tractor. This question is from year 2017 May-June version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option C. A farmer's bank account is not classified as a factor of production. A bank account represents financial resources but does not directly contribute to the production of goods or services. Instead, it is a form of financial capital that can be used to acquire factors of production. Looking at the other options. Option A. A farm is considered a factor of production, specifically classified as land. It includes all the natural resources available for agricultural production. Option B. A farmer represents labor, which is another factor of production. The farmer's effort in managing and working on the farm is essential for producing agricultural goods. Lastly, option D. A second-hand tractor is classified as capital. A tractor is a physical asset used in the production process, contributing to the efficiency of farming operations. Moving to 30th question. A person bought a shop and stocked it with fresh fruit. He employed one member of his family to help in the shop. Which factors of production have been used? A. Labor and capital only. B. Labor, capital and enterprise only. C. Land and labor only. D. Land, labor, capital and enterprise. This question is from year 2017 February-March version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D. Land, labor, capital and enterprise. Here, land, the shop itself and the fresh fruit being sold are considered land because they are natural resources used in the business. Labor, the family member employed to help in the shop represents labor, which is the human effort involved in the production and sale of goods. Capital, the money spent to purchase the shop and stock it with fresh fruit represents capital, as it includes the physical assets used in the business. Enterprise, the person who bought the shop and is running the business is exercising entrepreneurial skills, taking risks, and organizing the production of goods, which qualifies as enterprise. Evaluating the other options. Option A, labor and capital only. This option omits land and enterprise, which are crucial for a complete understanding of the factors of production used in this scenario. Option B, labor, capital and enterprise only. This option excludes land, which is also a fundamental factor of production in this context. Lastly, option C, land and labor only. This option does not include capital and enterprise, both of which are essential to the operation of the shop. Moving with question 31. What is not a factor of production? A. A $20 banknote. B. An office. C. A photocopier. D. A secretary. This question is from year 2016 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A. A $20 banknote is not considered a factor of production. A banknote represents money or financial capital, which can be used to purchase factors of production but does not itself produce goods or services. Looking at the other options. Option B. An office is classified as capital. An office is a physical space used for business operations and is an essential asset in the production process. Optionally C. A photocopier is also classified as capital. A photocopier is a machine used to produce copies of documents, facilitating business operations and contributing to productivity. Lastly, option D. A secretary represents labor. A secretary provides human effort and skills necessary for the organization and management of office tasks, making it a vital factor of production. Moving on with question 32. Each factor of production earns an income. What correctly identifies the income for labor and capital? This question is from year 2016 October-November version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D, labor, wages, capital, interest. Asterisk labor, wages. Labor refers to the human effort used in the production of goods and services. The income earned by workers for their effort is called wages. Asterisk capital, interest. Capital includes financial resources and physical assets used in production. The income earned from capital, such as investments or loans, is typically referred to as interest. Looking at the other options. Option A, labor, profit, capital, rent. Asterisk this option is incorrect, because profit is not the income earned by labor, it's the income that entrepreneurs earn from their enterprise. Rent is associated with land, not capital. Looking at option B, labor, profit, capital, profit. Asterisk this option is incorrect as it assigns profit to labor, which does not earn profit. Instead, profit is the income of entrepreneurs or business owners. Lastly, option C, labor, wages, capital, profit. Asterisk while it correctly identifies wages for labor, it incorrectly identifies profit as the income for capital. The correct income for capital is interest. Moving on with question 33. An increase in the number of manufacturing robots in the car manufacturing industry represents an increase in the quantity of which factor of production? A, capital. B, enterprise. C, labor. D, land. This question is from year 2016 May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A, capital. An increase in the number of manufacturing robots represents an increase in capital because robots are physical assets that are used to produce goods, in this case, cars. Capital refers to the tools, machinery, and equipment used in the production process, and robots enhance production efficiency and capacity. Evaluating the other options. Option B, enterprise, refers to the entrepreneurial ability to take risks and organize the factors of production. The increase in robots does not represent an increase in enterprise, rather, it pertains to the tools used in manufacturing. Option C, labor, refers to human effort involved in production. While robots may replace some human labor, they are not classified as labor themselves. Instead, they enhance capital in the production process. And, optionally, D, land, refers to natural resources used in production. An increase in robots does not represent an increase in land, it is specifically related to capital. Moving on with question 34. Which firm is likely to find it most difficult to expand the use of its main factor of production? A, a farm growing crops in extensive fields. B, a technology firm dependent on risky innovations. C, a textile firm making use of labor-intensive systems. D, an engineering firm relying upon capital-intensive methods. This question is from year 2016 May-June version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A. A farm growing crops in extensive fields. This type of farm is likely to find it difficult to expand the use of its main factor of production, which is land. Extensive farming typically means that the farm is already maximizing its use of available land. Expanding the farm may require acquiring additional land, which can be limited or expensive in certain regions. Moreover, extensive farming often relies on the natural productivity of the land, which may not be easily increased through technological or labor improvements. Looking at the other options. Option B. A technology firm dependent on risky innovations. Asterisk while this firm faces risks, it can usually scale up by investing in research and development, R&D, and hiring additional skilled workers as needed, making it more flexible in terms of expansion. Option C. A textile firm making use of labor-intensive systems. Asterisk although this firm relies on labor, it has the potential to expand by hiring more workers, provided that the workforce is available. The limitations here may not be as restrictive as those faced by a farm with limited land. Option D. An engineering firm relying upon capital-intensive methods. This firm can often scale operations by investing in more machinery or technology. Capital-intensive firms typically have greater control over how they expand and can do so by purchasing more equipment. Moving on with question 35. Governments often try to influence the supply of factors of production in their economies. Which factor's supply is a government least likely to be able to increase? A. Capital. B. Enterprise. C. Labor. D. Land. This question is from year 2015 October-November version 3 paper. The correct answer to this question is option D. Land. The supply of land is the factor that a government is least likely to be able to increase. Land is a fixed resource, it cannot be created or easily increased in supply. While governments can manage land use, rezone areas, or reclaim land, such as through land reclamation projects, the total amount of land available in a specific area is fundamentally limited. Thus, the government has little control over increasing the physical supply of land. Looking at the other options. Option A. Capital. Governments can influence the supply of capital through policies such as tax incentives for investment, grants, or subsidies. They can encourage savings and investments, which can increase the overall capital available in the economy. Option B. Enterprise. The supply of enterprise, which involves entrepreneurial activity, can also be influenced by government policies. Governments can create a favorable business environment through regulations, incentives, and support for small businesses, thereby encouraging more entrepreneurial efforts. Option C. Labor. Governments can affect the supply of labor through policies related to immigration, education, and training programs. By encouraging workforce participation and skills development, they can increase the available labor force. Moving on with question 36. In a rural community of southern Africa, women were responsible for planting and weeding crops by hand, while men used to control production and receive profits. Which combination of factors of production was in operation? This question is from year 2015 October-November version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option B. Men, enterprise, women, labor. Men, enterprise. In this scenario, the men are controlling production and receiving profits, which suggests they are taking on the role of entrepreneurs. They are likely making decisions about what to produce, managing the resources, and organizing the work, which are all functions of enterprise. Women, labor. The women are responsible for the physical tasks of planting and weeding crops by hand. This clearly defines their role as labor, as they are providing the human effort necessary for crop production. Looking at the other options. Option A. Men, capital, women, land. Option is incorrect because men are not functioning as capital in this context. Rather, they are acting as entrepreneurs, enterprise. Additionally, women are not associated with land as a factor of production, they are involved in the physical work of planting and weeding. Option C. Men, labor, women, capital. Option is incorrect because men are not performing labor in this context. They are managing and controlling production, enterprise. Women are also not capital, they are providing labor for the farming tasks. Lastly, option D. Men, land, women, capital. Option is incorrect as men do not represent land in this scenario. Instead, they control the production process. Similarly, women are not acting as capital, they are laborers contributing to the cultivation of crops. Moving to question 37. A business person employs 2 people to make sandwiches to sell in a cafe. As well as labor, which factors of production are involved in this activity? A. Capital, enterprise, and land. B. Capital and land only. C. Capital and enterprise only. D. Enterprise and land only. This question is from year 2015 October-November version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A. Capital, enterprise, and land. This option includes the tools and equipment needed to make sandwiches, such as knives, cutting boards, ovens, and the physical space of the cafe itself. Capital represents the assets that help produce goods or services. Enterprise, the business person who is organizing the sandwich making process and taking on the risk of running the cafe represents enterprise. They are making decisions about the business and managing resources, which are key functions of entrepreneurship. Land. In this context, land refers to the physical location of the cafe where the sandwiches are made and sold. It is a necessary factor for the business operation, as a location is essential for conducting business activities. Looking at the other options. Option B, capital and land only. This option is incorrect, because it does not include enterprise. While capital and land are factors, enterprise is crucial as it involves the management and decision-making aspect of the business. Option C, capital and enterprise only. This option is incorrect, because it excludes land. The location of the cafe is an important factor of production that cannot be overlooked. Lastly, option D, enterprise and land only. This option is incorrect as it omits capital. Without the tools and equipment, capital, the employees would not be able to make sandwiches effectively. Proceeding with question 38. Each of the factors of production earns an income. What are the incomes for capital and enterprise? This question is from year 2015, May-June version 3 paper. The correct answer for this question is option A, capital, interest, enterprise, profit. Capital, interest. Capital typically refers to the financial resources or assets used to produce goods and services. The income earned from capital is often referred to as interest, which is the return on investments or loans. When capital is invested or lent out, it generates interest as a form of income. Enterprise, profit. Enterprise refers to the entrepreneurial aspect of business, including the risks taken to manage and organize production. The income generated from enterprise activities, after covering costs and expenses, is known as profit. Profit is the reward for successfully managing and operating a business. Looking at the other options. Option B, capital, interest, enterprise, wages, is incorrect because wages are the income earned by labor, not enterprise. Enterprise earns profit, not wages. Option C, capital, profit, enterprise, profit, is incorrect because capital earns interest, not profit. Profit is specifically the income for enterprise. Lastly, option D, capital, rent, enterprise, profit, is incorrect because rent is the income associated with land, not capital. Capital earns interest. Coming to question 39. The following are 4 ways factors of production are used. What is likely to require the greatest use of the factor enterprise? A carpenter making wooden articles in his leisure time for sale at a monthly market. B, a corn farmer negotiating with other farmers to hire expensive machinery. C, a food shop owner sometimes selling flowers in the shop. D, a householder harvesting vegetables grown at home. This question is from year 2015 May-June version 1 paper. The correct answer for this question is option B. A corn farmer negotiating with other farmers to hire expensive machinery likely requires the greatest use of the factor enterprise because it involves significant decision-making, planning, and risk management. The farmer is not only negotiating the hire of expensive machinery but also considering the economic implications, such as costs, potential returns, and the coordination of resources. This level of strategic thinking and risk-taking is a core aspect of enterprise. Looking at the other options. Option A. A carpenter making wooden articles in his leisure time for sale at a monthly market. While this involves some enterprise, it is done in a more casual context. The carpenter may not be fully committed to managing a business or facing significant risks compared to the farmer negotiating machinery. Option C. A food shop owner sometimes selling flowers in the shop also involves enterprise, but the scale and commitment to selling flowers may be less than the overall strategic planning needed by the corn farmer to hire machinery. This option suggests a side activity rather than a primary enterprise effort. And option D. A householder harvesting vegetables grown at home involves minimal enterprise. The householder is simply using resources they have already cultivated for personal consumption or perhaps a small sale, without the complexities of negotiating or planning that a business would require. Moving to question 40. New oil reserves are discovered. What has increased in supply? A. Capital. B. Enterprise. C. Labor. D. Land. This question is from year 2015 May-June version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is D. Land. In the context of discovering new oil reserves, the supply of land has effectively increased. The new reserves are part of the natural resources found on or under the land, and discovering oil in previously untapped areas increases the available land that can produce oil. This aligns with the definition of land in economics, which includes natural resources. Looking at the other options. Option A, capital, refers to financial assets or physical goods that are used in the production of goods and services. The discovery of oil does not directly increase capital, rather, it may lead to investment in capital to extract and process the oil, but the supply of capital itself does not increase just from the discovery. Option B, enterprise, involves the entrepreneurial effort and risk-taking in organizing production. While new oil reserves may present opportunities for enterprise, the discovery itself does not directly increase the supply of enterprise. And option C, labor, refers to the human effort used in production. The discovery of oil reserves does not increase the supply of labor directly. It may create a demand for labor in the future, but it does not change the existing supply of labor as a factor of production. Looking at the last question for today. Which statement about factors of production is correct? A. Capital is the money people keep in the bank. B. Enterprise is found more in service industries than in manufacturing industries. C. Labor includes only those who work using their hands. D. Land includes resources found in or under the sea. This question is from year 2015 February-March version 2 paper. The correct answer for this question is option D. Land includes resources found in or under the sea. This statement is correct because, in economics, land refers to all natural resources used in production, which includes not only terrestrial resources, like forests and minerals, but also marine resources, like fish, oil, and gas found in or under the sea. Evaluating the other options. Option A, capital is the money people keep in the bank. This statement is misleading. While money can be a form of capital, capital in economic terms generally refers to physical assets, like machinery, tools, and buildings, that are used in the production of goods and services. Simply keeping money in the bank is not considered capital in this context. Option B, enterprise is found more in service industries than in manufacturing industries. This statement is not necessarily correct. Enterprise is essential in both service and manufacturing industries. Entrepreneurs operate in various sectors, and the level of enterprise is not limited to one over the other. Both require entrepreneurial risk-taking and decision-making. And option C, labor includes only those who work using their hands, is also incorrect. Labor encompasses all forms of human effort used in production, including both physical, manual, work and mental work, like management and planning. It is not limited to only those who perform manual tasks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video insightful and helpful. If you enjoyed the content, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure to subscribe to Topical Economics channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Share this with your friends who might also find it useful, and stay tuned for more exciting content coming your way.